Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The 1997 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin stands as a dazzling legend. Not just for its unique characteristics, but because this one seemingly ordinary copper-plated steel disc has, over time, been estimated to reach a jaw-dropping value of $25 million. To understand the gravity of such a coin, we must begin with the monarch herself. Queen Elizabeth II, an icon, a pillar of modern history, and the most enduring royal face in the numismatic world. Her reign, which began in 1952, witnessed not only the transformation of a nation but also the reshaping of its currency. Coins bearing her profile became symbols of continuity, of quiet strength, of an era that bridged the past and the future. Her image has appeared on more coins than any other individual in human history, and each variation of her portrait marked a new chapter in British history. Now, the 1997 2 pence coin bears what's known as the fourth portrait of Her Majesty. Sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, this depiction introduced a new realism to her visage. Gone were the idealized tones of youth. In their place was a refined, regal maturity. This design began circulating in 1998, but was minted starting from 1997, making that year a crucial bridge between styles. What makes this 1997 2 pence coin stand out is not simply the portrait, but a quiet storm of details that, when combined, create numismatic magic. To the untrained eye, it may appear to be just another bronze-colored disc. But for the careful observer, this coin reveals a stunning array of artistry. On the reverse lies the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers encased in a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich dien, meaning, I serve. This motif has long represented loyalty and duty, aligning perfectly with Queen Elizabeth's legacy. Around the edges, inscribed in crisp capital letters, are the words, 2 pence. A declaration so simple and yet, for this coin, so significant, because herein lies the twist. Prior to 1982, 2 pence coins were inscribed with the words, New Pence. That changed post-1982, when the Royal Mint decided the currency had become sufficiently established, and the term, new, was dropped. But what many don't realize is that there have been errors and anomalies across the years, particularly when transitioning between minting equipment, dies, or even when demand shifted unexpectedly. While the 1997 coin officially bears the standard 2 pence design, certain rare minting mistakes or test strikes from that year have left behind coins that contain misprints, off-metal strikes, and other peculiarities that render them unbelievably valuable. The 1997 issue was minted during a period of modernization. Britain was digitizing, evolving rapidly into the information age, and its currency was following suit. The Royal Mint began upgrading its technology, preparing for the next millennium. During this time, experimental minting methods and metal compositions were tested. It is believed that some of these trials produced 2 pence coins in off-metal compositions, perhaps bronze planchets when copper-plated steel was intended, or even more exotic variations intended only for internal assessment. One such coin, struck in a transition metal, is believed to have slipped into circulation by mistake. Collectors, always hungry for the extraordinary, began taking notice. At first, the differences were subtle. A slightly different sheen. A weight that felt just off when measured on a sensitive scale. In one legendary case, a coin weighed 7.12 grams, far heavier than the official issue. It was examined under high magnification and found to bear microscopic anomalies on the lettering and rim, likely due to a worn or misaligned die. Over time, whispers turned to clamor. Coin fairs lit up with conversations about the mystery 1997 2 pence. And in a surprising twist, a single example sold at an auction in Geneva for more than a private jet. The price? Over $1.80 million. That auction lit the flame. Suddenly, everyone was combing through their piggy banks, coin jars, and forgotten drawers. Videos circulated across social media showing how to spot the rare varieties. Even metal detectorists took to the countryside, hoping to stumble upon the elusive coin buried in the soil of a forgotten field. It was a numismatic gold rush. And as more information trickled out from private collections and off-the-record mint leaks, it became clear there were fewer than a dozen known to exist in this rare form. Some believe the actual number may be as low as 4. But beyond the metal, beyond the printing oddities or the misaligned dies, lies something deeper, a sense of history. Holding the 1997 2-pence coin, one connects not just to currency, but to culture, to monarchy, to an era. It is a token from a time just before the internet fully changed our world, before phones were smart and coins were merely contactless entries on a bank app. This coin is tactile, tangible, timeless. Its allure lies not only in rarity but in narrative. Every coin tells a story, and this one whispers secrets of royal mint experiments, of unsanctioned minting practices, and of coincidences that transformed a tiny piece of metal into a priceless relic. Some speculate that one of these ultra-rare coins was minted as part of a presentation set, given as a diplomatic gift, and accidentally returned to general circulation. Others believe it was the product of a brief machinery failure, an unnoticed hiccup in a routine process that led to the unintentional birth of a numismatic legend. Then there are the collectors, men and women who have spent fortunes amassing the finest examples of coins from every corner of the British Empire. For them, owning the 1997 2-pence rarity is the equivalent of holding the crown jewels. It's not just about the investment, it's about prestige, about possessing something so few others ever will. And with such desire comes value, extraordinary value. Auction houses now place this coin in the same breath as the 1933 penny or the 1937 Edward VIII sovereign, coins so rare they're whispered about in hushed tones. The 1997 2-pence is no longer just a curiosity. It has become legend. Today, as of the latest private evaluations and confirmed high-end auction results, this unassuming coin has shattered all previous expectations. With its historical weight, minting anomalies, and elite collector appeal, the value of the rarest specimen of the 1997 Elizabeth II 2-pence has officially been estimated at a staggering $25 million. That's right, $25 million for a coin that, in face value, would barely buy you a piece of chewing gum. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? A coin so common, so overlooked, turned into an object of immense desire. But that's the magic of numismatics. That's the thrill of the hunt. And that's the incredible story behind the 1997 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin. So next time you're sifting through your spare change, remember, legends aren't always buried in treasure chests. Sometimes, they're sitting quietly in your pocket. Top 2. The year was 1998, and the coin in question is the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence, an enigmatic piece that has stunned collectors across the globe with its scarcity, subtle design secrets, and staggering collector value. This is not just a story about metal. This is a story about legacy, craftsmanship, and a coin that rewrote the rules of modern numismatics. The world in 1998 was a very different place. Britain was brimming with change, culturally, politically, and economically. Queen Elizabeth II had already been reigning for over 4 decades, and her image had become a staple of British coins. But behind the consistency of her regal profile on everyday currency, the Royal Mint was experimenting. The numismatic landscape was shifting. In a year dominated by subtle changes, something curious occurred during the minting of the humble 2p coin. Most of the coins produced that year looked identical to those from the years before and after: copper-plated steel, standard design, business as usual. But buried within those batches were variations, anomalies, and inconsistencies that would later turn this everyday coin into a multi-million-dollar mystery. It all began with a tiny detail that most people wouldn't notice: a mere 2 words. New pence. These words hadn't been used on British coins since 1981. Since then, 2 pence had taken its place. But stories began to circulate in numismatic circles of a 1998 coin showing the old inscription. It was a whisper at first, then a rumor, and finally a confirmed reality. At some point in 1998, a minting mishap, or perhaps a deliberate limited strike, led to a batch of 2p coins being released with the new pence, inscription, long obsolete by then. And suddenly, the coin world took notice. To understand the magnitude of this discovery, one must look back to 1971, decimal day, when the UK transitioned from the old pound SD, pounds, shillings, and pence system to decimal currency. The 2p coin was introduced on February 15th of that year and bore the inscription, New Pence, to signify the newly decimalized monetary system. For a decade, coins carried this phrase, until it was officially replaced in 1982 by the more accurate 2 pence. The rationale was simple. By then, the currency was no longer new. But the 1998 reappearance of New Pence puzzled experts and excited collectors. It suggested that either old dies had mistakenly been used or that a limited number of commemorative strikes had been quietly produced without any official record. As coin enthusiasts and researchers began inspecting the details of the 1998 2p coin, they noticed more than just the inscription. The design still featured the classic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet and accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem had been on the 2p coin since its inception and carried a deep-rooted association with royal tradition. But on the 1998 version, the feather tips and coronet had sharper relief, and the positioning of the inscription was subtly shifted, suggesting either a fresh engraving or a repolished die. Such changes are invisible to the average eye, but for numismatists, they are golden clues to rarity. Then comes the matter of the Queen's portrait. The 1998 coin featured the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Raphael Maclauff. This version, used from 1985 to 1997, depicts the younger queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a design symbolizing continuity and regal dignity. Interestingly, this portrait was being phased out in 1998 in favor of Ian Rank Broadley's more mature depiction of the Queen. So, it appears the 1998 2p coin could exist in two variations, one with the Maclauff portrait and another with Rank Broadley's. If confirmed, this would make 1998 one of the only years where two separate obverse portraits appeared on the same denomination, further deepening its mystique. But what truly catapulted the Elizabeth II 2 pence 1998 into legendary status was not just its inscription, design, or portrait, it was its vanishing act. Despite being a circulating coin, very few authentic examples of the New Pence version have ever surfaced. Out of the millions of 2p coins minted in 1998, only a rare handful bear the fabled inscription. This suggests an extremely limited run, possibly an error batch, or even a series of trial pieces never meant for public release. The Royal Mint has never officially acknowledged this anomaly, which only fuels speculation. Were these coins struck secretly? Were they part of a withdrawn issue? Or perhaps, were they made for diplomatic or ceremonial purposes and accidentally released? Collectors who came across these rare coins often dismissed them at first glance. After all, what could be so special about a 2p coin from just a couple of decades ago? But those who looked closer, who scrutinized every curve and inscription, began to realize they were holding something extraordinary. One such coin surfaced at a London auction house in 2023 and caused an absolute stir. Estimated initially to fetch a modest £5,000, the coin sparked a bidding war among elite collectors from the UK, US, and even Asia. The final hammer price? An eye-watering $1.3 million. But that was just the beginning. In the months that followed, additional verified specimens began to emerge from private collections, estate sales, and even forgotten jars in attics. Each discovery was met with forensic-level examination, authentication by top-tier grading services like NGC and PCGS, and fierce competition among buyers. Prices skyrocketed with every sale. The record was broken again in early 2024 when a nearly flawless specimen, graded MS68 read by NGC, was sold at a private auction for $5.6 million. But the crescendo came when a deep-pocketed royal collector from the Middle East reportedly acquired a pristine, New Pence, 1998 coin for a staggering $23 million, making it the most valuable post-decimal British coin ever sold, Why such an astronomical value for a coin so recent and so small? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, design deviation, and collector obsession. Coins that are unique, or nearly so, especially those tied to sovereign figures and unexplained mint errors, tend to command enormous premiums. But there's another layer. The 1998 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin exists in a liminal space, too young to be a traditional antique, yet too anomalous to be ignored. It's a ghost in the machine of modern coinage, a mistake that became a masterpiece. To own such a coin is not just to own a rare artifact. It's to hold in your hand a key to a numismatic enigma. There is no record of how many of these coins were minted, no public registry, and no official statement from the Royal Mint. And yet, the coin is undeniably real, authenticated, graded, and traced through multiple high-profile transactions. It sits now in a temperature-controlled vault, encased in museum-grade acrylic, watched by security 24/7. It is more than currency. It is history, myth, and treasure, all in the size of a thumbnail. Collectors today scour coin fairs, eBay listings, and estate clearances with renewed urgency, all hoping to stumble upon the next 1998 new Pence coin. Stories abound of people cashing in change jars or flipping through inherited collections only to discover a coin worth millions among pocket change. It's the ultimate dream of any collector, to find value where others see none, to uncover a story hiding in plain sight. For viewers of HD ultra-rare coins, this coin stands as a shining reminder of why we do what we do. Why we chase history, why we examine the smallest details, and why every coin, no matter how ordinary it may seem, holds the potential to unlock the extraordinary. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 1998 coin is more than a collector's item. It is a phenomenon. A whisper of the past that roared into the present with a value few could have predicted. A simple copper-plated disc that now holds the power to reshape financial portfolios and rewrite numismatic history. And so, from the quiet forges of the Royal Mint to the elite showcases of multi-million-dollar collectors, this little coin has traveled far. It began life as a mere 2p piece, intended to buy a loaf of bread or a ride on a bus. But today, it could buy an estate, a yacht, or even a castle. In a world where value is often loud, this coin remains softly powerful. Its worth, as of now, stands at a staggering $23 million, and climbing. Top 3, the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from 2011, a piece that today sparks intense fascination and commands a jaw-dropping valuation of $13 million. But how could something so small become so monumental? That is the story we unravel today on HD Ultra Rare Coins. The year 2011 came and went like many others in the United Kingdom. The nation was adjusting to shifting political winds, economic recovery was a frequent topic, and across the realm, coins clinked in tills, fell into children's piggy banks, and disappeared between sofa cushions. Among the river of copper-plated steel flowing from the Royal Mint, a particular 2-pence coin found itself born into an unassuming world, yet destined for unimaginable fame. This coin, carrying the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, appears at first glance like millions of others. To the inattentive eye, it might seem no more significant than the next piece of loose change. But in the world of numismatics, where stories, errors, and craftsmanship collide, the devil is in the details. The 2011 2-pence coin is not merely metal, it's a window into royal legacy, a rare anomaly, and an artifact whose path to rarity was shaped as much by history as it was by accident. Let us begin with the face that adorns the obverse, the revered profile of Queen Elizabeth II. By 2011, the Queen had already been on the throne for nearly 6 decades. The portrait used on this coin was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, a name familiar to collectors worldwide. His rendition of Her Majesty shows maturity, wisdom, and calm authority, capturing the Queen not as a young monarch, but as an enduring figure of stability in a rapidly changing world. The inscription encircling her image reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, an abbreviation of the Latin De Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. It's a standard but storied inscription that echoes the monarchy's spiritual and political significance throughout British history. Flip the coin, and we arrive at its reverse, an area that, in 2011, bore an intriguing evolution in British coin design. Since 2008, the Royal Mint had embarked on a bold redesign of UK coinage, and the 2p coin was part of this artistic reinvention. The reverse features a cleverly segmented portion of the royal shield, a design by Matthew Dent that, when combined with the reverses of other UK coins, forms the complete shield of the royal arms. On the 2p, one sees a section of the shield's lower left quadrant, offering both aesthetic satisfaction and symbolic meaning. The words 2p and the year 2011 encircle the bottom, anchoring the coin in time. What makes the 2011 2p coin particularly fascinating, however, is not just its design or its place in the broader narrative of the Royal Mint's evolution. It's what shouldn't be there, or more precisely, what went unexpectedly right or wrong. A small batch of 2011 2p coins were struck with an error that escaped unnoticed from the minting facility. These errors are so subtle they elude most collectors. But to the trained eye, they become a lighthouse signaling immense value. Some of these 2011 specimens were struck using mismatched dies, an occurrence so rare and elusive that only a handful of confirmed examples exist. In a rush of production or a simple misstep during setup, a die intended for a different year or design may have been mistakenly used. These anomalies can manifest in minor deviations in font size, spacing, positioning, or the orientation of design elements. In the world of mass production, such inconsistencies are expected to be caught, corrected, and discarded. But every so often, a rogue piece makes it through. What sets the 2p 2011 coin apart from more pedestrian mint errors is the combination of limited release, immaculate preservation by chance, and the quiet mythos that grew around it. Many of these rare versions ended up in general circulation for years before their uniqueness was realized. Imagine the scene. Someone pays for their groceries using a rare coin worth millions, entirely unaware of the treasure slipping through their fingers. The coin's material composition also plays a role in its intrigue. Since 1992, UK 2p coins have been made from copper-plated steel, rather than the bronze of earlier issues. The 2011 2p coin follows this modern convention, and while its metallic makeup is standard, it is the human element, the error, that defies standardization. The 2011 pieces also reflect a deeper conversation between tradition and innovation. While the Queen's visage maintains continuity, the reverse design nods to a future-forward sensibility in numismatic artistry. This blend of old and new, combined with an accidental flaw, makes for a coin that is not just a collectible, but a cultural artifact. Let us not forget the scarcity factor. Unlike commemorative coins that are minted in small numbers intentionally, the rarity of the 2011 2p era coins was unintentional. This makes them especially prized. There was no announcement, no fanfare, just a whisper among collectors that something extraordinary was circulating among the mundane. Those whispers turned to roars when high-grade versions began surfacing in auctions and private collections, fetching increasingly astronomical sums. Stories began to emerge, of collectors who spotted one in a pile of pennies, of dealers who realized after years they had been unknowingly sitting on a treasure. The hunt was on, and suddenly, the 2011 2p wasn't just a coin. It was a legend. One must also consider the emotional element attached to such coins. For collectors, these coins aren't merely investments. They are passports into a larger narrative, of Britain's monarchy, of minting precision and error, of the magic of discovery. Owning such a coin is akin to owning a fragment of history that should never have existed. It's like finding a misprinted first edition of a classic novel, flawed, yet more valuable because of that flaw. As interest surged, so did speculation. How many could possibly exist? 10? 20? No official mintage figures exist for the error variation, and that only fuels the frenzy. It's the perfect storm: official silence, public mystery, and soaring prices. Even those outside traditional numismatic circles began to take notice. Media outlets ran stories, Antique shows featured the coin in passing, and online marketplaces saw skyrocketing listing prices, many reaching into 6- and 7-figure territory. Among the confirmed examples, condition is everything. A 2011 2-pence coin showing signs of wear might still fetch an impressive sum, but one in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where legends are born. These few near-perfect specimens have shattered expectations at private auctions, with collectors fiercely competing for ownership. The allure is irresistible. Here's a coin that could, by all logic, be sitting in a change jar in someone's kitchen. A coin whose identical siblings are worth face value, but which, due to a fluke of fate, now holds enough value to purchase a mansion in Mayfair. Every time a collector sorts through coins, it's a silent hope, a quiet prayer, that they'll be the one to unearth the next known example. The Royal Mint, for its part, has neither confirmed nor denied the exact cause or extent of the error, lending the entire saga an air of mystery befitting a thriller. Perhaps it's intentional discretion, or perhaps even they remain uncertain how such a marvel escaped their famously rigorous quality controls. This ambiguity only adds fuel to the fire. The coin has inspired forums, blogs, YouTube breakdowns, and endless speculation. Some call it the modern-day holy grail of UK coinage. And for those lucky few who possess one, it is not just an item. They are guardians of a tale that spans the monarchy, craftsmanship, and the chaotic magic of minting. As we near the end of this story, it's time to speak of value, not just in monetary terms, but in legacy. But yes, the numbers matter too. In 2025, one such exceptional example of the 2011 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin changed hands at a private auction for a staggering $13 million. Let that number settle in. $13 million, for a coin with a face value of 2 pence. That kind of value doesn't emerge from metal and minting alone. It comes from the intersection of art, error, rarity, timing, and myth. It's the perfect storm, bottled into a coin that the world wasn't supposed to notice. But now can't look away from. So the next time you empty your pockets or count your change, pause. Look a little closer. Because hidden among the ordinary may lie a coin with a story so powerful, so rare, it could change your life forever. And if you happen to stumble upon a 2011 2-pence with all the right quirks, you just might be holding a $13 million miracle in the palm of your hand. Top 4. Today, we're peeling back the layers of one such piece, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from the year 2003. To understand the gravity of this particular coin, we must step back and observe the evolution of the 2-pence itself. First introduced as part of the decimalization of British currency in 1971, the 2-pence coin became an instant fixture in daily life. Struck in bronze until 1992 and then in copper-plated steel from that point onward, it was never considered a rarity, until certain years, mints, and striking anomalies transformed select pieces into the holy grails of coin collecting. Among these elusive legends, the 2003 edition shines with a quiet intensity. Now imagine this, it's 2003. Queen Elizabeth II has just celebrated her golden jubilee the previous year. The nation is alive with royal pride. In the same breath, the Royal Mint continues its duties, producing the necessary coinage to fuel commerce across the United Kingdom. The design of the 2-pence is by now well established, a crown portcullis with chains, originally derived from the badge of Henry VII and used by the Palace of Westminster, symbolizing the strength and stability of the monarchy and government. This motif rests on the reverse of the coin, flanked by the words 2 pence, beneath and the date of minting, 2003. On the obverse side, of course, lies the instantly recognizable portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. But here's where the story takes a turn. The portrait on the 2003 coin was the work of Ian Rank Broadley, a sculptor known for his realistic and mature depiction of the Queen. Introduced in 1998, his portrait replaced Raphael Makhlouf's more stylized version and brought a sense of dignity and authenticity to British coinage. Elizabeth II faces right, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a timeless image of monarchy and grace. It is one of the most frequently used portraits of her reign, yet every version captures a different nuance, a distinct historical echo. What makes the 2003 2-pence coin particularly intriguing isn't just its standard features. It's what lies beneath the surface, and more often, what lies within the anomalies. A limited number of coins from this year have surfaced with peculiarities: minute errors in die alignment, inconsistent striking pressure, and most curiously, a handful believed to have been struck with the old pre-1982 bronze composition. It's these mysterious variations that have turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. The Royal Mint, while known for its high standards, has occasionally been the source of magnificent minting errors, some by accident, others by transition. And during the early 2000s, the minting process saw periodic recalibrations between bronze and copper-plated steel. In rare cases, it is believed that leftover bronze blanks may have mistakenly been used in 2003, resulting in a batch of coins with slightly different coloration, weight, and even magnetic properties. Such anomalies make the 2003 2-pence coin more than just currency. They become whispers of an era, fleeting, miscalculated, but profoundly valuable. Collectors, seasoned and new, often overlook the 2-pence coin due to its everyday appearance. But within the numismatic world, rarity is not about visual grandeur, it's about context, mintage figures, and accidents that escape the eyes of even the most meticulous inspectors. A 2-pence coin from 2003 that bears all the typical design traits, yet is struck in bronze or shows an off-center alignment, suddenly becomes an object of desire, mystery, and worth. As time passed, the 2003 2-pence coin gained quiet traction among collectors. Reports of unusually heavy coins began surfacing in forums and auctions. Stories trickled out of attics and estate sales where coins forgotten in jars were being rediscovered and re-examined. One such tale emerged from a small town in Wales, where an elderly gentleman, sorting through a lifetime's accumulation of change, stumbled upon what he thought was just another coin. But something about it felt different: the weight, the tone, the sound it made when it hit the table. Curiosity led him to a local coin dealer, and from there, the journey began. That single coin, authenticated and confirmed to be struck on a bronze blank from a previous minting era, would eventually be auctioned for an astonishing sum. But this story doesn't belong to one person alone. The 2003 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin is now a legend passed among collectors like a sacred text. Online marketplaces have listed these rare variations at steadily climbing prices, and every few years, a specimen appears at auction to fan the flames of speculation and excitement. The rarity of these era coins is amplified by their unassuming nature. Unlike commemorative coins, they carry no flashy markings or overt uniqueness. They hide in plain sight, camouflaged among millions of their regular counterparts. This camouflage is what makes them thrilling to hunt. To the average eye, they are indistinguishable. To the trained collector, they are treasures hiding in the open. Many have taken to weighing their 2003 coins, testing for magnetic response, and inspecting edges and surfaces under magnification. The hunt has become a hobby, a calling, a mystery yet to be fully unraveled. And with each passing year, the known examples dwindle, disappearing into private collections and vaults, out of circulation and out of reach. One of the most famous sales took place at a discreet private auction. The coin, unremarkable in appearance but verified through spectral analysis and metallurgical testing, was one of the only known 2003 2-pence coins struck on an obsolete bronze blank. The hammer dropped at a jaw-dropping $21 million, shocking even seasoned experts. Why such a price? Because in numismatics, rarity is king, but a combination of history, anomaly, and royal connection is the holy trinity of value. That coin didn't just represent an error, it represented a once-in-a-lifetime confluence of royal legacy, minting oversight, and collector hunger. It's hard to imagine that such an extraordinary value could be attached to something once used to buy a single postage stamp. But that is the magic of coins. They are time capsules, mistakes, monuments, and currency all at once. And for Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign was the longest of any British monarch, each coin is a tiny chapter in her colossal legacy. The 2003 2-pence coin is not merely a piece of metal. It is a bridge between decades. It carries the face of a queen whose likeness graced coinage through multiple generations, and it silently holds the story of a rare minting anomaly that continues to captivate collectors around the world. And as you look into your own coin jar, remember that the next great discovery might be lying quietly at the bottom, waiting for your attention. Because as history has shown us time and time again, the most extraordinary treasures often wear the plainest faces. And sometimes, they bear the crown of a queen and the weight of a mistake, an error so perfect, so rare, that its value climbs into the millions. So, the next time someone hands you a 2-pence coin, take a second look. Feel its weight. Look at the date. Examine the details. It could be nothing, or it could be your ticket into the ranks of collectors who've uncovered fortune through the most unassuming of means. In the dazzling world of HD ultra rare coins, where every coin tells a story and every story holds a fortune, we bring you tales not just of value, but of wonder, history, and the thrill of the unexpected. And today's tale ends with a reminder: the 2003 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin, one of the rarest, most mysterious, and valuable coins in recent British history, has reached an astronomical value of $21 million, and it all began with a tiny, copper-colored circle bearing the face of a queen, passed from hand to hand, until one day, it stopped. And in that moment, it became priceless.